To feed the world's population, agriculture needs healthy land and sustainable ecosystems. Yet, today we rely on intensive growing, harmful chemicals, and clearing huge areas of land. The very activity that puts food on our tables today is jeopardizing our ability to continue producing food in the future. For Singapore, that's our biggest food security concern. Will today's food sources continue to supply us tomorrow? Our food supply is already becoming less secure. According to the FAO, the cost of a healthy diet in Singapore has risen by over 25% in just 7 years. So how can Singaporeans maintain an affordable, healthy, and sustainable diet in the face of climate change? Until last year, we'd been trying to grow more food locally, 30% of our total supply by 2030. But in 2025, the government dropped this goal because our farmers were struggling to sell their produce. With limited land, Singapore's farms require expensive technology. These costs are passed to the consumer, making it difficult for Singaporeans to pay for local produce. But self-sufficiency isn't the only path to food security. As a major economic center, I think that we can actively shape the future of the regional farms that feed us. I look to the rest of the world for models of that future. In Latvia, Belgium, and Argentina, for example, ecologically positive farms are demonstrating to consumers that good food coming from a sustainable environment can still be affordable. Here, cities power supply chains. These cities stabilize demand, enable direct sales, and they have reason to invest in regional infrastructure. Singapore too can enable and benefit from more sustainable farming for our land-rich neighbours. I found that some small businesses in Singapore already show that a regional model is possible. Talula Farms, a Singaporean grocer, works closely with farms in Malaysia to improve their growing practices and produce quality. The result is food that is not only more sustainable and healthy, but also more flavorful. Their revenue comes from Singaporean customers, but part of it is reinvested into the farms through skills development, infrastructure, and long-term supply contracts. These close relationships ensure that prices remain affordable. But there are a few challenges. As an emerging business, Talula Farms struggles to get Singaporeans on board. Firstly, Singaporeans want value for money. Talula needs to convince them that despite their premium-sounding farm-to-table concept, their food isn't more expensive. Second, Singaporeans prioritize convenience. Talula doesn't have the scale to make stock available in supermarkets. Purchases are made online, meaning that consumers have to actively seek them out and might have to bear delivery charges. Third, and most importantly, is perception. Quality produce is often associated with countries like Japan, Korea, or Australia. Produce from Malaysia is seen as lower quality, especially when consumers haven't had the chance to see the produce in real life. Talula has great methods and a compelling story, but people tend to only trust personal experience or their own communities. So the question is, how can businesses like Talula get the average Singaporean to put their trust in the produce of these farms? I found a possible answer in group buys. Across Singapore, neighbours already organize community group buys for food. By pooling orders together, residents can hit minimum spends for free delivery and even negotiate for discounts. 1 or 2 residents take the lead, compiling orders for their neighbours' convenience and opening their homes up as nearby pickup points. This addresses both the value for money and the convenience challenge. Moreover, recommendations and reviews are passed around in their group chats. These are social spaces where perception around produce quality can be shaped very effectively. For businesses like Talula Farms, these group buys could become an entry point into Singapore households. This is how a proposed framework for food sustainability actually becomes feasible.